In a noisy world where everyone is quick to defend, explain, and justify themselves, chosen ones must learn the wisdom of silence. Not every person standing in front of you is just a person. Sometimes the enemy works through individuals, through their hurts, their pride, their confusion, to challenge your peace, question your identity, and distract you from your God-given purpose. Jesus himself experienced this when Peter, yes, the same Peter who walked with him, tried to rebuke him for speaking of his destiny on the cross. Jesus turned and said, "Get behind me, Satan." Matthew 16:23. Now, was Peter Satan? No, but in that moment, the enemy was influencing Peter's words to try to derail Jesus from his mission. In this powerful video, we're diving into 3 life-changing revelations as to why you should stop explaining yourself to demons in people. I'm about to show you how to recognize when the enemy is working through others to provoke you, distract you, and derail your purpose. This is not about running from confrontation. It's about walking in divine authority, trusting God to fight your battles, and standing firm in your calling without seeking human validation. So, if you're ready to break free from the chains of what certain people have to say, step into the confidence of God's purpose for your life, and learn how to let go of battles that don't belong to you, stay tuned. Because what we're about to unpack could change the way you approach every conflict, every accusation, and every misunderstanding in your life. Let's get into it. Number 1, you're not wrestling against flesh and blood. Beloved, let me begin by reminding you of the profound reality found in Ephesians 6:12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. This scripture is not a suggestion, it's a declaration of truth. Your battle is not with the person in front of you who opposes, misunderstands, or maligns you. It's with spiritual forces operating behind the scenes, using people as pawns to frustrate, distract, and derail you from your divine assignment. The enemy's strategy is simple: to make you fight the wrong battle, spend your energy explaining yourself, and defend your character to individuals who have no spiritual capacity to discern the truth. Consider this: Jesus himself, the Son of the living God, refused to waste time explaining himself to those who were spiritually blind. When the Pharisees questioned him, trying to trap him in his words, he responded with wisdom, authority, and brevity. Luke 20:26. Jesus understood that no amount of explanation could change the hearts of those whose minds were blinded by deception. He knew his purpose was too great to be diluted by arguments with people operating under the influence of darkness. You see, when you engage in endless explanations with individuals who are being used by the enemy, you risk stepping out of the spiritual realm and into the flesh. And when you fight flesh with flesh, you lose. Jesus warned us in Matthew 7:6, "Do not give dogs what is sacred, do not throw your pearls to pigs. If you do, they may trample them under their feet and turn and tear you to pieces." That sacred thing, the pearl, is your wisdom, your purpose, your energy, and your focus. When you waste your time trying to explain or justify yourself to people who are spiritually deaf, they will only trample on the truth you've given them and attack you for offering it. The issue isn't you. The issue is the hardness of their hearts and the demonic deception that clouds their reasoning. John 8:44. So, why engage in a battle that cannot be won through words? Why explain yourself to those who are committed to misunderstanding you? Beloved, this is why you must discern the spirits behind the people you interact with. The Apostle Paul was crystal clear when he said, "We are not ignorant of the enemy's devices." 2 Corinthians 2:11. One of the enemy's most cunning devices is to use people as distractions. He knows that if he can provoke you into defending yourself, you will divert your energy from your true assignment. When Nehemiah was rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem, his enemies, Sanballat and Tobiah, tried repeatedly to distract him. But Nehemiah's response was profound. "I am carrying on a great project and cannot go down. Why should the work stop while I leave it and go down to you?" Nehemiah 6:3. Nehemiah understood that engaging in unnecessary dialogue with his enemies would only delay the fulfillment of God's purpose. Child of God, you too are carrying on a great work. Your calling, your purpose, your assignment is too valuable to be interrupted by the opinions of those who lack spiritual understanding. Stop coming down from the wall to explain yourself to people who aren't building anything. Let your life and your obedience to God speak for you. The word of God promises in Exodus 14:14, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." Stop trying to vindicate yourself. Stop trying to explain your motives. God is your defender, and his vindication is far greater than any argument you could ever make. Beloved, this isn't just about protecting your energy. It's about guarding your anointing. The enemy wants to wear you out with debates and distractions because a tired warrior is an ineffective one. But Isaiah 40:31 declares, "Those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." When you stop explaining yourself to demons in people, you create space for God to renew your strength, refocus your vision, and propel you forward in your destiny. My friends, you don't owe anyone an explanation for being obedient to God. When God calls you, he equips you, and when he equips you, he vindicates you. Your job is not to make others understand. Your job is to walk in obedience. Stop wrestling with flesh and blood. Stop throwing your pearls before swine, and stop explaining yourself to demons in people. The work you are doing is far too important to be interrupted by distractions. Stay on the wall, keep building, and let God handle the rest. In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. And I'll add to that with the timeless wisdom of Winston Churchill, you will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks. Keep moving forward, beloved. The battle is not yours. It belongs to the Lord. Number 2, demons in people seek to trap you, not understand you. Beloved, let us not be deceived by the appearance of curiosity or concern from those operating under demonic influence. Their goal is not to understand you, but to entrap you, derail your focus, and ultimately destroy the work God has assigned to you. Jesus made this clear in John 10:10 when he said, "The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full." The enemy's agenda is not hidden, it's destructive, and one of his most effective tools is to use people to twist the truth, provoke unnecessary debates, and entangle you in conflicts that have no resolution. Look at the example of Jesus in Mark 12:13-17. The Pharisees, filled with envy and malice, sent men to trap him with a question about paying taxes to Caesar. Their words dripped with false flattery as they tried to bait him into saying something that could be used against him. But Jesus, in his divine wisdom, didn't fall into their trap. Instead, he asked for a denarius and said, "Give back to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's." In one sentence, he silenced their accusations, exposed their hypocrisy, and refocused the conversation on what truly mattered. This is the brilliance of our Savior. He didn't waste time explaining himself to those who were never interested in the truth. Child of God, this is a lesson we must take to heart. There are people who will come into your life not to add value but to drain it. They will disguise their intentions, pretending to seek clarity, but their real goal is to manipulate your words and discredit your calling. They aren't looking for understanding, they're looking for ammunition. Demonic spirits thrive on confusion, division, and destruction, and they will use willing vessels to carry out their agenda. This is why Paul warns us in Ephesians 6:12 that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. This isn't a battle of logic, it's a spiritual war. And in spiritual warfare, your greatest weapon is discernment. Discernment will keep you from wasting your energy on conversations that bear no fruit. My friends, your wisdom, your purpose, your anointing, these are pearls of great value. But when you share them with people who are not spiritually equipped to receive them, they will only twist and trample what you've offered. Have you ever poured your heart out to someone only for them to use your vulnerability against you? Have you ever tried to explain your dreams or your vision to someone only to be met with skepticism and ridicule? That's the enemy at work, trying to make you doubt yourself and your calling. Let me take you deeper into this. In the wilderness, when Jesus was tempted by the devil, the enemy tried to manipulate the word of God itself. In Matthew 4:6, Satan said, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, He will command His angels concerning you." The enemy quoted scripture to provoke Jesus into proving his identity. But Jesus didn't take the bait. He responded with authority, saying, "It is also written, do not put the Lord your God to the test." Notice what Jesus didn't do. He didn't argue with Satan, he didn't defend himself, and he didn't feel the need to prove who he was. He stood on the word of God and resisted the enemy's schemes. This is where many of us falter. We feel the need to explain ourselves, to defend our intentions, to prove our worth. But when you engage in this way, you give the enemy a foothold. You validate his accusations by stepping into his arena. Instead, follow the example of Jesus. Stand firm in your identity. You are who God says you are. You don't need to explain or justify what God has placed in your heart to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. The fruit of your life will speak louder than any argument you could ever make. I love what Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "Great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, small minds discuss people." Don't lower yourself to the level of discussing or defending yourself to those who can't see the vision God has given you. Stay focused on your assignment, stay grounded in the word, and remember that your silence can be more powerful than your explanation. When you trust God to fight your battles, you free yourself to focus on the work He has called you to do. Number 3, explaining yourself to the wrong people can lead to unnecessary spiritual battles. Beloved, let us gather in the light of God's wisdom and examine a truth that many of us miss in the midst of conflict. Explaining yourself to the wrong people can lead you into battles God never intended you to fight. It is a trap that the enemy skillfully lies, cloaked in the guise of justification and reasoning. Proverbs 26:4-5 captures this beautifully. Do not answer a fool according to his folly, or you yourself will be just like him. Answer a fool according to his folly, or he will be wise in his own eyes. At first glance, this scripture seems contradictory, but therein lies the brilliance of its wisdom. There are moments when silence protects your peace and wisdom, and there are moments when addressing folly is necessary to expose its emptiness. The key is discernment, the ability to distinguish between a battle that strengthens your spirit and one that exhausts your soul. When you waste time explaining yourself to someone operating from a place of darkness, whether it be ignorance, pride, or even demonic influence, you risk opening doors to unnecessary conflict. My friends, Never wrestle with pigs. You both get dirty, and the pig likes it. This is a popular saying rooted in wisdom, though not found in Scripture, but it echoes the essence of James 4:7. Submit yourselves then to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Explaining yourself to those influenced by demonic spirits or hardened by pride is like wrestling with pigs in the mud. You risk entangling yourself in their chaos while losing sight of your higher calling. God has called you to resist the devil, not to reason with him. When Jesus was tempted in the wilderness, he didn't engage in long-winded debates with Satan. He simply responded to the word of God and moved forward. This is the strategy we must adopt. Here is why this matters. Every moment spent defending yourself from someone who is determined not to understand you is a moment stolen from your God-ordained assignment. The enemy thrives on confusion and chaos, and when you engage in unnecessary explanations, you give him a foothold in your life. Explaining yourself can lead to pride when you feel the need to prove your worth, anger when your words fall on deaf ears, and frustration when you realize your efforts are futile. These emotions can fester, distracting you from the joy of the Lord, which is your strength, and from the peace that surpasses all understanding. One of the most profound truths about spiritual battles is this: not every battle is yours to fight. The enemy wants to exhaust you with distractions so that you are too weary to focus on what God has called you to do. Imagine David standing before Goliath, choosing to use a slingshot instead of Saul's armor. David understood that he had to fight God's way, not man's. In the same way, you must discern when to speak, when to be silent, and when to walk away. Every unnecessary explanation is like Saul's armor. It looks right to the world, but it is a weight that slows you down and doesn't fit the spiritual fight you're in. Don't let people pull you into their storm. Instead, invite them into your peace. This timeless quote reminds us that we are called to be peacemakers, not storm chasers. Protect your peace by refusing to entertain arguments that serve no purpose other than to stir up strife. Jesus himself modeled this. When Pilate questioned him, Jesus remained silent, speaking only when it served a divine purpose. He didn't feel the need to explain himself to someone who lacked the spiritual capacity to comprehend his mission. As you walk through life, remember this: there are times when silence is your greatest weapon, your loudest declaration of faith. Your life, your integrity, and your obedience to God will speak louder than any words you could ever say. Choose your battles wisely, for the devil would love nothing more than to see you fighting in the mud when God has called you to soar in the heavens. So, I challenge you today: rise above the noise, resist the urge to justify yourself, and stay focused on the assignment God has placed before you. Let the work speak for itself. Let your peace testify to the presence of God in your life, and let the word of God be your shield and your sword, guiding you away from battles that aren't yours to fight. Stay on the wall, beloved. Refuse to come down. Let the Spirit of God guide you, for the battle belongs to the Lord, and he has already declared you victorious. Again, stop wasting your breath, your energy, and your peace trying to convince people who are not wrestling with you in good faith, but are under the influence of forces far beyond your natural eyes. For we are not wrestling against flesh and blood. Ephesians 6:12 reminds us that our struggle is not against the person standing before us, but against the spiritual forces of evil operating in the unseen realm. You see, when you try to explain yourself to someone who has already made up their mind, you're not engaging with their heart. You're engaging with the spirit of pride, manipulation, or confusion working through them. Demons in people don't seek to understand you. They seek to trap you. They thrive on dragging you into endless debates, pulling you into cycles of frustration, and baiting you into battles God never assigned to you. Oh, child of God, hear me. There are some people you will never convince because their ears are closed, their eyes are blind, and their hearts are hardened. not by you, but by the enemy who seeks to use them as tools to derail your purpose. Jesus taught us the power of discernment. When he stood before Pilate, accused and mocked, he did not waste his words explaining himself. He knew that Pilate wasn't in control. The spirits of the age, the forces of evil, were driving the agenda. Yet Jesus stood in silence, a silence that spoke louder than any justification ever could. That is wisdom you must carry. Not every battle requires your words. Not every accusation deserves your defense. Not every argument is worth your energy. Explaining yourself to the wrong people is like pouring water into a broken vessel. It will never fill, never satisfy, and never bear fruit. And let me tell you something. It's not always the person themselves who is at fault. Sometimes it's the spirit working through them. The enemy knows he cannot destroy you, so he tries to distract you. He uses people to stir up strife, provoke your emotions, and tempt you into stepping out of God's will.
Recon. Put you in the sickle for the harvest is right. We ain't down for wickedness, false prophets a lie. Woman to the wicked grass of blind to sight. Unquenchable flame stars fall in the night. Shemayim snapped the scroll, mountains fled in the anger. Hills a flock of rams skipping special forces, recon angels. Really by no labels, we bout labor for the source. Wells up in infinite, waters coming forth. Spiritual revival, dehydration shall I pour. Kept the run down to the mouth, cool floor. Kingdom heaven in me is boss of the morbid head. Treasure like deep in you, key to the never end. We all a ray, a fragment piece of the sea sledge. Point of a center, he segment filled in with ether. He'll be on and then you're passing the present teacher. Pre-sealed and covenant, Nehemiah, not Easter. We all a ray, a fragment piece of the sea sledge. Point of a center, he segment filled in with ether. He'll be on and then you're passing the present teacher. Pre-sealed and covenant, Nehemiah, not Easter. Not a game, stolen the soul arrangement. Adversary in the details, mirrors and smoking angels. Incriminating emails, fake news, read the paper. Pimping who been printing, it's all designed to take ya. Division in your cells, almighty sustain. Ain't got how relying on nothing else. In trouble, it's all vapor, elder wind in the sails. The water, the whole rainbow reclamation, just a vessel, a wrestle. Jonah, you came from. Stay mind, woe with holy who. Lord, if they only knew how they controlling you, thought still a slave. Look how they holding you, enemy scoping you, word on my wing. Stay mind, dwell with holy who. Lord, if they only knew how they controlling you, thought still a slave. Look how they holding you, enemy scoping you, word on my wing. Force tremendous, Bill Adam breath, living dust, mushy for the enemy, burnt down like a Dutch. Once upon a distant, dirty sackcloth in the ashes. Truth don't grow with mischief, prayer get raised about the ashes. Save me from the Mario, it fell of not your pasture. Had you not an anchor, if you save me, I'll be thrown. Thorn to the thief, leech, mind of the corn. Stone in the sling, sing signs in the storm. Rock foundation, time echo with the north. Recon over game, wings fly with the force. All purpose type material to camouflage the course. Tiger stripe, orange, red drip from the source. We all array, your fragment piece of the sea sledge. Point of a center, he segment filled in with ether. He'll be on
God
the
damn it,
passing
Paul.
the present teacher. Pre-sealed and covenant, Nehemiah, not Easter. Stay mind, dwell with holy who. Lord, if they only knew how they controlling you, thought still a slave. Look how they holding you, enemy scoping you, word on my word. Stay mind, dwell with holy who. Lord, if they only knew how they controlling you, thought still a slave. Look how they holding you, enemy scoping you, word on my wing.
All right, folks, we're back at it. The link is in the description. If it's not clinkable, if it's not clinkable, the link is in the description. Poor little clink. I see all the usual regulars down there. The repeat offenders, the deplorables. Yeah, if you got anything, questions, comments, concerns, updates, news, court simulations, that's the core of what goes on here. among other things. So I'm always going to leave an open door policy for some of that. You know, if folks have charges, they're going to court, they want to do some simulation with that. Um, they want to get into their experiences. Maybe they have some past experiences with the legal, lawful situation, rights and freedom. Upholding the law, working at court, so to speak. That takes preference. That takes precedence. Yeah, I'm getting there. Seems if I just eat right and do what I need to do, that little by little everything will correct itself. But yeah, I'm thinking I got a bunch of stuff up here, but I'm thinking I just go Carl Lentz because it's always good information. I always like hearing it, even if I've heard it before. I could listen to it a bunch of times because I guess it's what I'm into. I think that it's important information. We're very synchronistic. We're very synchronized in what we're doing. He's one of the few folks who learned from or who I respect in the way that they approach this situation and the understanding that they hold. So very much a kindred spirit. Why we haven't interacted yet or done something together, who knows? Maybe that time will come at some point. All right, first, here's what I'll do. First, a blast to the past, just like yesterday. Another video from Billy a couple years back, how to prevent the next pandemic. And then we'll go Alex Jones, the truth or non-truther. It was fun while it lasted. Another quote unquote fake truther. Turns out the truther thing isn't a thing. There are like real men and women on the ground who do what's true and what's right. They're Americana, and the rest are just kind of idol worshipped dupes or just outright deceivers, it would seem to me. And that's the majority, if I didn't say that. So let's go to Billy on his spaceship telling us how to prevent pandemics. Because that always, when I'm feeling a little bit sort of like We Are Awake TV, kind of low energy, I'm almost too calm, almost too reserved. I got to kind of brighten myself up for the broadcast. I got to get engaged. I go to Billy for that, among other things.
If we make the right investments, we won't need to live in fear of another COVID.
All right, are you feeling
we can
that?
build a health
Am I the
system
only one that's feeling
that
that?
ready
Is what
to
I want to
stop
know.
outbreaks before they go global. Here's how it should work.
It's like instant. It's like an instant adrenaline shot
will
for me.
detect suspicious clusters of a disease that could cause a pandemic. A global team of 3,000 disease experts managed by the WHO, called the Germ Team, will track the disease and share data and recommendations with governments. Governments and pharmaceutical companies will work together to use factories all over the world to get an unprecedented scale of diagnostics and vaccines very quickly. We'll have an agreed protocol and we'll understand how to share the results globally. Countries and the WHO will work and the best way to allocate these tools and to make sure that we have the logistics and delivery to get them to everyone who needs them. The key to be ready for a potential pandemic is to practice. And so this germ team will work with each country to do germ games, drills where you see, are you ready? Could you get the diagnostics out? So we're ready to go when we see the outbreak. Diseases are always going to spread among humans, but they don't have to become pandemics. You can read more about this in my new book, How to Prevent the Next Pandemic.
All right, I suggest everyone get that, and maybe we do some more germ games, as if we haven't done them enough on these panels. Bunch of little mucosoid-like creatures who could only be described as germ-like. That must have been part of that campaign. All right, I want my Alex Jones because that brings me back to a simpler time. It seemed like, well, not really. I mean, I always kind of doubt, I got trust issues. So I always kind of doubt people. I never really go all in. I may resonate to certain degree or on certain levels. I may respect certain things that are knowable or showable, experiential, but I always kind of have a healthy, it seems, the more I live, I realize it is a healthy, not a paranoid sense of doubt, right? I don't put faith in earthly man for whom there is no salvation. And there definitely isn't salvation for a man who won't talk for himself at court, can't save himself or his company, and didn't even try. It's not even that he couldn't, he didn't even try. So another in the world and of it, truth or non-truther. But like I said, it's kind of nostalgic for me and many others here. It brings us back to what seemed like a simpler time for Americans, for rights and freedom and principles and spiritual faith. And I want to believe, even though it seems like all is lost, I want to believe that Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Alex Jones are all going to like join forces to just kind of save all of us from what we've been buying into and creating directly or indirectly. I really want to believe that that's going to happen. And it seems like pretty probable at this point. I don't know if you guys are watching, but it's a thing. All right, let's see. Flashback to a year and a half ago, Alex Jones interview with some guy, no idea who he is. And I guess as long as like you have the frizzy broccoli hair and the dress shirt with no tie tucked into the jeans, the Canadian dress suit, as long as you throw the guy in black socks and Nike Air Forces, he's hip, he's trendy, he's one of the people. We're gonna listen to him. I'm into that already. Like just looking at it, like if you could see, okay, look at this. Just if you look at this guy, you're right away, you're kind of drawn in. You relate to him. He's a real guy.
Do you feel responsible for what happened to the Sandy Hook families?
Yes, I killed the children.
But beyond that,
I went in that school. I pulled a gun out and I shot every one of them myself. I mean, I'm guilty. It's true.
No, but
no. Let's just. Do I feel responsible that someone that played shoot 'em up video games on a bunch of drugs went and killed a bunch of kids, and then the internet questioned it, and I covered that?
They staged Sandy Hook. The evidence is just overwhelming. We've looked at all sides. We played devil's advocate from both sides.
No, I don't feel responsible, and I don't apologize anymore. I'm done. Mm-hmm. I don't apologize. I killed the kids.
Was there a definitive?
No, I killed them. I killed him.
You didn't kill him.
No, I did.
No, you didn't.
No, everybody said no. I killed him. I killed him. I already admitted I did it. I killed him. I'm the bad guy. I'm the devil. Get rid of the First Amendment. Can we move on to other topics?
I don't think
I killed him. First Amendment killed him. Second, get rid of the Second Amendment. Get rid of the First Amendment. They're bad. They killed the kids too. George Washington killed him. Jesus killed him. We should rename the whole planet Sandy Hook. Everything. It should be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm signing on to this because I've learned too that I was part of that, even though I didn't realize. Paul Enslaved kills the children. He wants your kids and he's killing kids, and it's really bad. So I see what's going on here, and I accept that because I've had the same experiences in my own life. I've had to realize I'm a very bad man, and I'm surrounded by really good people who just want to help me and others stay safe and be empowered, and I've been standing in the way of that for the longest time, and now I'm out of the way. I realize where the true power and value is.
Holidays, we should bow 5 times a day to New Haven, Connecticut for the kids that died. Every American's to blame. Every gun owner's to blame. I'm to blame. We're all guilty. To Bloomberg and Soros, turn our guns in. Turn our guns in. I know I did it. I killed them. I killed them. I killed them. I know I killed them. So I'm done talking about it. Okay. I killed them. Okay.
Can we talk about the trial at all?
There's nothing to talk about. Yeah. Let me tell you, I don't know if I can do this interview right now. You liking it?
I don't think you should keep doing that.
What? Dude, I murdered those children. I did. I killed them myself.
Still not a funny thing to say. Yeah, I get the point, but it's just like, fuck, man.
Fuck it. I don't give a fuck, dude. Right. I'm far beyond giving a fuck right now.
I understand.
Dude, you want to fucking take me out. Right?
No, but I'm just saying. They really, that wasn't their intention.
A jury in the Alex Jones trial ordering the conspiracy theorists to pay $45.2 million to parents who lost their 6-year-old son in the Sandy Hook massacre for calling it a hoax.
Every sin ever committed on earth in 10,000 years of history, I did it. The Night Stalker, the Zodiac Killer, I did it. Vietnam War, Hitler. I was actually Hitler. It wasn't Hitler. It was me.
He's now doing the bit.
I did it.
I never saw this. He's now doing the bit that I did. He stole my bit. Well, I guess I did it technically 4 to 6 months after. I never saw any of this. This is actually really entertaining me today, where we did the whole like Paul enslaved, took down the Hindenburg, Paul enslaved, sold black people into slavery, Paul enslaved, killed John Kennedy. That was one of the best bits ever. I thought that we did that. See, great minds, I guess, think alike.
I was in a time machine in Germany. I did all that, okay? I did everything. And that's what I accept. So you're here with the bad guy. You're here with the villain. Lex Luthor, right now. You're talking to him right now. You're talking to Lex Luthor. How's it feel?
You don't feel like Lex Luthor to me.
I invented cancer.
How?
I just did it. Doesn't matter. I created death. People didn't die before I was born. I created heartburn. I created hemorrhoids. I created hangovers. I created gingivitis.
That's a bad one.
I created hair loss. I created acne.
I wish you could do that one.
I created bad breath.
So yeah, now that we've accepted that.
I invented Prozac that Adam Lanza was on. I had his mom buy him the AR-15, give it to him. I was there. Yeah. Did you know that all money in the universe was created by Sandy Hook? It was a time machine. Before the Rothschilds created fractional reserve banking, before tally sticks, before gold coins, the Roman era, it was the Sandy Hook event that created all money, future and forward. Yeah. Everything is that. Everything.
I mean, how do you feel about like how your attorney did overall?
They said I was guilty beforehand because they couldn't have a real trial because they had 24 minutes out of 10 years of me talking about it. Most of them me saying it happened. It's sick. It's disgusting. I was being sarcastic earlier. Yeah. I didn't kill the children. I'm not Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah. I didn't invent hemorrhoids. I simply question things, and they're trying to demonize me to say questioning things is a bad deal.
And elementary school massacre, 26 dead, 27 dead now, 18 kids in Connecticut. When you got small children, this really gets to you. That's why the globalists use children's deaths to go after our guns, because they know it gets to us. So don't ever think the globalists that have hijacked this country wouldn't stage something like this. They kill little kids all day, every day. And it's not our government, it's the globalist. I really think they're going to try to come after the guns. It's going to start a civil war.
I clearly believe from the evidence, children were really killed in Sandy Hook, and it's a real tragedy. Unfortunately, evidence is beginning to come out. People who've been coached, people who've been given cue cards, people who are behaving like actors.
I dropped Billy off and watched him go around the corner, and he never came back, all because of the guns. Won't you just turn your guns in for my son? I mean, folks, we've got video of Anderson Cooper with clear blue screen out there.
Nothing can account for what happens to his nose.
Early on, I said, well, they had to have killed somebody. I mean, this doesn't make sense. Then parents come out and start laughing and then turn to the camera and cry. No one died in 2012 in Sandy Hook. Sandy Hook is a synthetic, completely fake, with actors, in my view, manufactured. I couldn't believe it at first. I knew they had actors there, clearly, but I thought they killed some real kids. And it just shows how bold they are.
People come up to me in hotels and in grocery stores, and I'll be walking my dog, and they just go, the car will go, "Roar! You son of a bitch, quit, leave those kids alone." And I'll be like, I never talk about it. The media, shut up, you son. And some people have confronted me in front of my wife and children and said, "You son of a bitch, you killed those kids." No one knows who Adam Lanza is. When you ask somebody about Sandy Hook, it's Alex Jones. Yeah. So I did not kill the children.
But do you feel any sense of responsibility for the way the lives of the Sandy Hook families were affected?
An emotional day of testimony after 3 family members whose loved ones were murdered at Sandy Hook Elementary School took the stand describing the harassment they endured as a result of Alex Jones'
this should be really good. I could use this as like precedent. Brian O'Shea is joining us here. I could use this as precedent, Brian O'Shea, when I go to court. Hey, you guys just, Alex Jones said he thinks maybe Sandy Hook was like not what the media said it was, that's worth $1.5 billion. So like putting me in a box for 2 or 3 days, that's got to be like what, 5-6 billion? Yeah, man. I mean, there you go. Hurt feelings equivocates or equalizes to $1.5 billion. So like there should be like, I'm gonna once again help out this audience who many of them are unthankful and ungrateful, constantly projecting onto me, acting like I don't really care. You guys got a ton of lawsuits with me. You know how many times I hurt people's feelings on this fucking broadcast? Hello? You guys could be like racking up the litigations here, the lawsuits. You know, all he said was maybe it's not what they say it was, 1.5 bill. You know how many times I've directly said what I believe shit to be, and it may or may not be true. It's just what I perceive. You guys got a lot of claims you could be getting to. Instead of just watching, waiting, and hating and being lazy, you could be filing lawsuits. Keith Talcott and others. You know, get on that, man. Stop being so lazy. Get to a come up here. I heard a lot of feelings on here, Brian O'Shea. Your thoughts before we get back to it quickly?
It's fucking hilarious, dude. It's fucking hilarious, dude. What he's doing your bit, but yeah, it's fucking.
We're all doing the same bit, apparently. You know, right. Except I'm actually like going to jail and going to court, not hiring an attorney, and losing horribly, and then having the administrator go, Alex, are you aware that your attorney gave all the text messages to the other side showing you were lying to everyone? He's like, what? Like, you hired an attorney. This is what's so great about all you guys, right? All you inauthentic corporate beta males, whether you masquerade as alpha or not, like even the most alpha, like Alex Jones, when it's time to go to court, they hire an attorney, and then you accidentally gave all the text messages to the other side proving you were lying. You can't make this shit up. At what point is everyone going to realize we're in some kind of dream/nightmare here, whatever we make it? And the thing that you least suspect is going to happen is definitely going to happen. And so it's just better off like you being who you know you're supposed to be now, and then reconciling everything. When is everyone going to realize that's what this place is? I'm talking to me as well. When are you going to realize, you in the camera, when are you going to realize that that's what's going on here? It's reality. It's not real. Is any of this real, Brian O'Shea? You can't make Alex Jones, the biggest truther and untruther ever, hires an attorney, spends hundreds of thousands of dollars for him to purposely lose the case. When he could have just went and said, I don't know what happened. I said some stuff. I do an entertainment broadcast. I didn't cause any loss, injury, and harm, and I don't have a contract with these people to talk about certain things and not. And at worst, from here on out, I like apologize and I won't do it anymore. Done. Over. You can't even stick them with a bill, because under the foundations of law of this land, if someone offers recompense or reconciliation, you're supposed to take them up on it, especially if they do it privately. Like, hey, just send me the actual bills for whatever it's going to cost to compensate you for the loss, injury, and harm I didn't do. It doesn't exist. You know, what are these people going to go to therapy for the next 20 years and fake it to get to a bill that's 1.5 billion? Where's your damages? Where's your losses? No, you play into their jurisdiction, you sign the contracts, you hire the attorneys, and you let them not litigate for you. And they literally defended you. They took away your ability to fend for yourself, and you paid for it. How stupid can this fucking race be at this point? They're literally paying for people to take their fucking rights on every level and tell them it's going to be okay. We're keeping you safe while they lock you down. It can't be any more beautiful in its ugliness. It can't be any more nightmarish in the revelation of the ultimate truth that is so hidden, apparently. It's so obfuscated that it may as well not exist to the majority of folks' apprehension. Imagine a world, Brian O'Shea, where men just started going into court and going, this is who and what I am, this is what I'm not, and I don't know anything about what you're saying, and bye. You know, what do we need? I'm sorry, I apologize. If I did any wrong, I'll compensate. If you can't show that, then I gotta go. I got shit to do. Done. Over. Now they want to sign papers. They want to argue with codes. They want to hire people to throw away their rights and to turn their property over. I got an attorney. Great. They're going to turn your property right over. to the state of. They're going to turn all your natural rights over into benefits and privileges. And when you speak out of turn, they're going to sanction you, or they're going to give you, punitive measures. They're going to put punitive measures forth. That's what comes with opting into a society and a culture. Root word cult. Good luck trying to convince the majority of these people of what should be fucking common sense at this point. So whether Alex Jones is real or not, what happened with him goes on all day, every day. You folks, DeCastro is real as it's going to get, unless he's another agent. I don't know what's real anymore. Oftentimes I start wondering, did they put a chip in me? Am I working for the Masons too? And then I got to check the record. I got to remind myself of like what I'm doing and what I've done and like, where it goes, and the fact that I don't have anyone to go to or call on. And if I do, they haven't let me know. I don't put anything past anyone. If I'm working for him indirectly, as DeCastro and others say, to lead people into jail, I haven't been told. So I'd be the greatest agent ever, because they haven't told me and they just keep letting me out, making me think it works. And then if it doesn't for the rest of you, I guess you're fucked. And then I guess I'm fucked because I did it. So I guess there's a small percentage of possibility there till I see how it turns out for Julian a couple months ago, till I see how it turns out for Brian O'Shea at times when he actually decides to interact with these people, which half of where I sit. The last time I decided to take it all the way through because I need to get it on record. But every other time before that, I just walk out and don't come back. And I tell him, I'm not coming back here and I don't have any contract with you. So if you're going to do some meeting and hearing, I'm probably not going to be there in this form that you're seeing here today. So that leads me to believe if I am a Manchurian candidate or indirect agent, they're doing a great job, because they got a whole bunch of people around me also who are the same thing, who are apparently trying stuff out and getting results. And it's kind of surprising them. We're all people who are brought up to think that we have little to no power and this thing is all powerful. And it turns out that's not really the case. If it was, Brian O'Shea wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't be sitting here. Julian wouldn't be not doing the 30 days they said he was supposed to do, that they commuted the sentence of, and then gave him the answer for court next time. It's literally Darth Vader with Luke Skywalker going, I'm your daddy, and I had to teach you from the negative side of things how to be a man. Now here's the answer. Because every problem contains its own solution. Every question contains its own answer. Your thoughts on any of this, Brian O'Shea? Questions, comments, concerns, experiences of your own?
Yeah, good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times create strong men create good times. So if you're on a piece of land and it's good times, right, and you have a child and you want to teach him about faith and what things we've learned, how would you do that? Like all of a sudden it's a golden era, everything's going our way, we're making children. You would have to introduce a darker aspect somehow to them, right? Otherwise they're just going to become weaker. That's just a natural thing. If we got it going on, if all these people, like everything goes our way, right, Paul? We get all these billionaires contribute to us. We got all these powerful people, these false powerful people. They say, oh, fuck, we're fucking up. We're going to repent. We're going to help you guys out to create heaven on earth. Everything's going our way. So if you look at it like that, those children that we would have on heaven and earth don't have the opportunity that we have. They get weaker, right? We have a better opportunity to learn about faith. Am I
right? But that's the point. You said a key phrase. You use a key phrase that all of us chimpanzees and genes use at times, and it doesn't make sense. How do you teach a child about trust, equity, and faith? The answer is you don't. It's like one of those bad jokes. How many slaves does it take to teach a child trust, equity, and faith? 0. He just learns it on his own away from the household. If he's lucky, right? Like that's my story. I didn't know anyone trustworthy, equitable, and faithful beyond a certain degree. I saw glimpses of it, so I had to take that and then fill in the rest of the picture. I saw glimpses of it, but the motherfuckers I saw glimpses of it in oftentimes didn't even know they had it. And if they did, weren't going all the way with it, whatever that means, right? To me, that's the proviso here, to me. Because I go, this motherfucker has so much trust in himself right here, so much faith to just do whatever he wants, regardless of what everyone else is doing, and not realize the implications of the way and everything else that we're doing. That's what always used to baffle me. Like how my uncle would be ready to kill on a dime, I'm pretty sure he's killed people. He's dead now, but killed people in the past, was ready to fight anybody at any time, including his own family members, because he was disrespected. Right. And again, that might be more of a daemon that just wasn't as in control as it could be. So it wasn't seen as a weight of the way. It was probably seen as an impediment by him, but nonetheless, still part of his experience. And I could just never understand how the being couldn't step back from their own beingness and look at one aspect of themselves, if redirected or understood and applied other places, could actually be, rather than impediment, part of their saving. Their saviorship, if you will. I'm not making up words here. But again, a lot of that has to do with how one interprets themselves based on how the world has labeled them. To a warrior, oftentimes they may doubt themselves because they seem animalistic and uncivilized, right? Until you realize what the coward's walk is. And they exist one and the same. They're archetypes of the same beingness to some degree, right? So there's a give and take on either side, where it comes to submission or passivity, where it comes to conflict addressing or resolution. There's always the middle way. But yeah, to a coward, somebody who's a warrior who stand for themselves and fight through anything is empowered and inspired. The warrior may not see it that way, because he's lived his whole life being told by a bunch of cowards how uncivilized he is. How he just can't play well with others and get along. Well, not with motherfuckers who don't have self-respect and set a standard for themselves and don't have no integrity. You're not supposed to. That's how you wind up in bad business dealings. Right? Entertaining and trying to work with people who have no standard for themselves or don't want to meet life on life's terms. That's how you wind up carrying a whole burden of a project and fucking up the business dealing. Community is no different. So, yeah, I forgot how I got off on that. What the original main vein was, so to speak.
You can't teach.
You can't teach. You got to show, right? See, Brian O'Shea, you're on it. You gotta keep me focused. We can't teach trust, equity, and faith. It can't be taught. Nothing can be taught here. What it can be is lived, and by lived, it's shown, and by shown, it can be understood and accepted through being experienced. Right? We're back to the Bigfoot phenomena, right? I'm big on Bigfoot lately. I don't know. They got me. Bigfoot people got me. It's going to be my new wrinkle in my arc of my story, because now I'm like going to run with it at some point. I'm going to run with ridiculousness that could lead back to some truth, right? Or show different dynamics. But the Bigfoot thing, right? It doesn't matter how many people see it and experience it. You can't tell anybody else about it. I'm not saying that I have experienced it. I've noticed the same theme. Whether it's legal, lawful, or Bigfoot, I don't give a fuck what. I could have 10,000 pictures, 10,000 documents, 10,000 videos. Wouldn't matter. Till the beings experience it for themselves, they're never going to believe you. They're never going to believe it. All right. So this is like what I've now termed the Bigfoot phenomena. Is there is no sublimation or supplanting of firsthand experience. I don't care if it's rights, freedom, principles, spiritual faith, God, or fucking Bigfoot. You could tell everybody about it all day, every day. You could even show them the evidence and the conclusive proof of it. They're never going to believe you or buy in until they have the experience for themselves. The only way they're going to have the experience for themselves is if they watch somebody else do it and be it and have it and decide to do and be and have the same. Because they recognize the light in themselves that they recognize in others. They recognize the power and value in themselves that they recognize in others. So once you open yourself up, see, I'm already making a guess. If I was to go look for this Bigfoot, I would find it where I least expected it, because it's going to open itself up to me like everything else in the universe. And it's going to be another one of those experiences where you go, holy shit, this thing that we thought was crazy and couldn't be real is not only real, it's happening all the time. And there's people who know it's happening, but they can't tell everybody else because no one else will believe them until they have the experience for themselves. And how many people are actually going to go open themselves up to the universe and the idea of seeing Bigfoot? Most people ain't going to do it for fear of being crazy. The same way they're not going to open themselves up to a belief in God, legal and lawful rights and freedom or everything else without feeling crazy. Gotcha, bitch. See how it works? This is why I say the whole world is pimping and hoeing. They just don't know it. What you fail to open yourself up to is what you'll fail to experience. Without having that experience, you've limited yourself and your experience. That's a disempowerment. That's a disintegration. That's a distraction. Distraction. That means you're going to lack momentum in your life, right? Bigfoot is in Washington. No, it's not. There's no Washington. It's on Washington.
Iowa, in a forest.
What is Washington, right? You just made something up. I don't know nothing about that. There's a landmass that you like to call Washington, but it was forest first.
That's what I think Bigfoot probably is like there was a group of children that got fucking put out in a forest and somehow survived. I don't know, animals took care of them, but they weren't around humans. So they were able to develop unretardedly, ungoverned as we are governed and retarded. But they may have abilities. They could fucking shapeshift and they're just in tune with the wild and they're a man. That's probably what it is, dude. I saw one of those fucking things in Iowa in a forest, dude. It became blurry. What happens is you see it and then it becomes blurry and it looks like, oh, what the fuck was that? That's what happens. So they could do something, dude. They know you've seen each other.
One last night and we were cracking up because there was one of these like, real country guys and he so badly wanted to say the N-word. Like he so badly wanted to say, I first saw a Bigfoot. I thought it was a nagger. And he actually said it was what he thought it was a black guy, right? And I go, this is taking an odd turn, this interview. Because the guy's like, I thought it was a black guy running naked through the forest. And I'm like, what? That's your first thought when you see Bigfoot is these people don't get out much, You're looking at a phenomena of nature and you think it's a black guy running through the forest. But I guess that just comes down to most of us are not prepared to like accept what it is that we're seeing. Again, I haven't seen it. I'm open to it. I've just, again, the nature of my journey has now led me to the idea and conscious and awareness that there's a lot more out here for us to know or experience. And the majority of folks will not accept it or believe it, even if you have the proof, So I may have to shake things up at some point, start playing Bigfoot encounters on here, and I may even have to go searching for Bigfoot. Brian O'Shea, we may have to put together a Bigfoot task force because we're going to find this motherfucker and we're going to see what it knows. It knows something. They say Bigfoot can shapeshift. They say some of these people say Bigfoot can implant thoughts in your mind and tell you about things. I don't know, Brian O'Shea.
Bigfoot is blurry. That's the joke from the thing. Oh, we always take a picture and it's blurry. Yeah, because Bigfoot, he could do something to your mind. When he knows he makes eye contact with you, you're like, oh, shit.
Is it possible Bigfoot is the original Jesus creature? Somehow, like a line of Jesus creatures that is somehow supernaturally tapped in to other worlds, other forces?
I think it's just a man, just like Jesus is a man or any man. It's just they haven't been retarded by society and things. They were in nature somehow and just grew up with the animals, I think. They're just like a human if it was like as animal as it could be.
So it pretty much is a naked wild black guy running through the forest.
Yeah.
All right.
Probably the ones that survive.
That seems like my kind of guy. Once again, I mean, this is why they're going to say I'm like a white N-word, because I guess I'd rather hang out with Bigfoot than the average citizen slave. Doesn't vote. It doesn't pay slave tax. It secures its property and it has its rights. It's free.
But it doesn't want to hang out with you because it knows the danger that you are. Like with the mind thing, it knows you'll fuck up its situation, whatever's going on.
So you just right away, it doesn't want to hang out with me. That's you, bro. Bigfoot doesn't want to hang out with you because you drink your own piss, and it doesn't do that. Oddly enough, Bigfoot, a hominoid creature that's supposedly less advanced than Brian O'Shea, doesn't drink its own piss. It just leaves it on the ground, where most of us do.
No, it's more advanced. That's why it keeps to itself. It stays secret because it knows how crazy the world is, and it keeps its family away from all this. And it just
what would we do if we found out that Bigfoot actually works part-time and is more successful than the majority of panel members? Bigfoot's got a convertible. he's got a finished out cave. He's tapped into like intuitive, instinctual components of self. He does a broadcast. Like, what if we find out Bigfoot does a broadcast on his own network and is commanding an audience? Like, Keith Talcott and Jack are going to be pissed about that. You know, like Tommy's going to be in a fucking snit if he finds out that like Bigfoot gets over 20 live viewers. It's going to be a problem.
Well, that makes sense to me. Now I know what you're saying. Like Jesus was just a Bigfoot that would shapeshift to look a little different, a little less hairy and everything. Just like he'll shapeshift to get that job. Yeah, but he has the discernment. He has the understanding. They have it. And yeah, maybe they'll come into our world and fuck around. And like you said,
I think Bigfoot not only is real, has things to teach us, and I'm going to learn it. I'm thinking Bigfoot is a long lost aspect of me that I'm reuniting with, and I'm going to wind up living like the Bigfoot creature and even like developing some of its technology, biological or otherwise. I'm going to be shape-shifting, balling up, blurring up. I don't want to be seen and heard anymore. You know, I'm going to sort of be able to elude and evade human beings and capture, but also be able to like offend when necessary, you know, keep them running and guessing. Like, am I going to flip this Jeep? Am I going to take a shit on the hood? Am I going to hit you with a tree? You don't know. That's a power position, man.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's because it's so in tune with nature. Like, it's like a man combined with an animal, like just nature, like has that all the instincts. That thing doesn't sound less than me. It sounds way more advanced, way better.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't want to keep pointing it out, but Bigfoot doesn't live in a 91 Chevy Lumina and drink its own urine. That's you.
Right. Yeah, I have to work my way up.
Bigfoot doesn't have gallstone problems like me either, by the way.
Right. They probably know what to eat to cure everything. They know everything about the forest. They're like in tune. They probably talk to trees and animals and shit.
What is the idea? This guy's like doing the Middle Eastern thing where he asks a question while making a statement. What means idea breakaway society? Is it not, Paul? No question. Like you asked a question without asking a question. Can we reformulate that, please? Oh, we're doing the thing again, Nubs. You really want to get these folks started up, right? Pretending that Jeeps is Jennifer. It's conclusive. We know she's not. Like, for those who are not completely in delusion and denial, which is not most people on panels, we already have concluded it's not that. Jimmy Shively says he appreciates me and all you do, and thanks me. Thank you, Mr. Shively, for allowing me to get some mushroom jerky that's soy free this week and not be homeless and have to drink my own urine like Brian O'Shea or live in a forest enclosure, which doesn't sound so bad. I could be Brian O'Shea in Illumina on Denver, or I could be Sasquatch in a forest enclosure. You figure it out.
Yeah, you start growing more hair. You like shapeshift, like a warthog or like a pig. If you put it in wild, it all of a sudden it'll grow a longer snout. It's like you'll start growing hair everywhere to keep you warm.
Yeah, that's what happened to Snafu. Started growing a pig snout, a rat tail, and some back hair to keep him braced for the elements. All right, can we get back to Alex Jones, Brian O'Shea? You're always fucking ranting and raving and rambling. You never shut up. You know, relax, man. Calm down.
People were, accusing me of lying, telling me Ben never lived, telling me that I was going to burn in hell and that I would pay for what I had done.
Hensel testified that after her husband Jeremy committed suicide in 2019, people went to their daughter Avielle's gravesite looking for evidence the family was faking his death.
I couldn't wrap my head around just one more family member being part of this narrative.
It's an industry. It's a business. They got $73 million from Remington. They sued all these different groups of people. So no, I didn't kill their kids. I already said I was sorry before they ever sued me. And now they've just attached themselves to my name and who I am. They can get all the judgments they want against me. I have hardly any money. All those articles you see, it's like made up. Almost all of it's not even true.
You're not doing too good money-wise right now?
I never like they had a financial expert in my rig trial, and he said InfoWars is worth $130 million, and Alex Jones is worth $270 million. I don't have $2 million in cash. I don't have stocks and bonds. I don't have all that stuff. So it's like a joke. They can have $1 billion verdicts. It doesn't mean anything.
So they're expecting you to pay $45 million.
It's like $47 million or something like that total.
You think that in time you'll be able to do that?
Oh, no, it's what's ridiculous. Like, and they have 2 more trials coming up in Connecticut and in Texas. Everyone's like, yeah, we're gonna get him. He's like, they've built me up into like I'm this giant creature, like all powerful, like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Yeah. And none of it's real, so it's like it's funny actually. It's actually comical. I mean, it's actually hilarious. And then the Sandy Hook families, they already got $73 million from Remington. They're sitting there thinking they're about to get this big payday, and it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Are you going to be able to keep the studio open?
Oh, I mean, I could do a show anywhere. I mean, they're not going to show anything. No, they could run off some of our employees. Yeah. They could shut down some of our people. Yeah. Which is their big job, to shut down America, get rid of American workers. I mean, that's the part for the course. But I mean, as long as I don't want to quit or they don't put me in prison, they can't stop anything.
Was there a definitive year where big tech really teamed up to deplatform InfoWars?
Yeah, it was 2018, early 2018.
Bay Area tech giants are taking action against a prominent conspiracy theorist.
Twitter gives Alex Jones the boot. Just into CNN, Facebook is purging right-wing conspiracy theorist Alex Jones.
Apple, Facebook, Spotify, and YouTube all completely banned InfoWars within 12 hours of each other.
Facebook said, "We have taken it down for glorifying violence and using dehumanizing language to describe people who are transgender, Muslim, and immigrants, which violates our hate speech policies."
And they had the heads of big tech, so they got together and colluded to shut me down. I knew they had to censor freedom because freedom was so popular. I mean, I knew that was coming, yeah.
How did that affect your audience size?
It didn't let us have, on average, that giant viral spread every day, reaching 20, 30 million people. Instead, it was 3-4 million people that were hardcore. But then they understood there was censorship, so they were grassroots putting it out. So it actually made it more underground and more avant-garde, more black sheep, more rebel, and more outlaw. And so made it more.
I don't know anything about
what would you do
dragons, Nubs. I've never seen one, never experienced one. I tend to think it's an archetypal story, you know, about archetypal consciousness and awareness and the hero's journey and all the rest of it. But it may just be part of a long list of creatures that we don't believe exist, but may be existing somewhere over the ice wall. If you ask Nacho Keister and John Lazio, somewhere just over the ice wall, all these creatures and more may exist.
We had a time machine.
And we're going to find them here on Coast to Coast with Paulie Boy.
Even though I got caught in their Sandy Hook trap, and I was covered other people's theories and barely did it, wasn't much of what I did on the...
My new broadcast, I'm now announcing it. I'm now announcing it right here, right now, Brian O'Shea. It's called Paul to the Wall. And we're going from one side of the world all the way to the ice wall to find out, is it a rising Earth, a dropping Earth, a vortex Earth, a whirlpool Earth? Are there dragons? Are there Bigfoots? Are there giants? We're going to cover all the hard-hitting questions and comments and concerns and tests and challenges. And we're going to find out what exactly is going on here in this place. What's happening? Is it a hell realm? Is that Brian O'Shea's Lumina and urine drinking? Find out. Stay tuned on the next episode of Paws to the Wall. Ice Wall.
You know, on the timeline. I think I do it all again. I think this is going to bring us to something bigger. I mean, technically, if I had it all over to do again, I wouldn't have been caught in that trap. But that's not how the universe works. I did these things, and I'm going with the flow of where I'm at. I did it from a good heart, and I think it'll be turned towards good at the end of the day. So I'm not worried about it. And I believe humanity's going to wake up. I believe we're going to win.
Someone said giants still exist today. Scott 2P's on a diet, all right? Leave it alone.
Who's that?
That's my father in heaven.
This is Sandy Hook people? What is...
All right, so we're in Newtown, Connecticut, where the Sandy Hook elementary school shooting took place around 10 years ago. It's a special week for this town because for the first time ever, Alex Jones is being made to stand trial in Connecticut.
In a Connecticut courtroom just 20 miles from Sandy Hook, conspiracy theorist Alex Jones taking the stand, forced to face his own lies.
So right now we're on our way to go meet up with a trial attorney named Mark Bankston, who represented the Sandy Hook families in the previous defamation case in Texas.
Nobody thinks you killed the kid. Nobody thinks that, Alex. What you did, what you killed, is their ability to get over the death of their children. Look, I'm a parent, And I know my job. My job is to protect my kid. They couldn't be with their kids on December 12th, 2012, right? Like they couldn't do that. And so when that happened,
Another
their job
professional
changed.
victim.
Their job became to protect their kid's legacy. And so every
Alex
day
Jones
that this
took
kept
away
going
your
on and they couldn't
coping
stop it,
skills
these
and
parents are
processing
feeling like
ability.
they're failing their kids over and over and over again. And I put that on Alex Jones more than anybody else in the country.
So, for those who don't know, can you describe the extent of the harassment that was experienced by the Sandy Hook families?
There's no way I could do it just sitting here with you. It's unreal. So initially, it just started with rough contact.
This is a masterclass in psychology, by the way. This is why I even cover these things, because you know me, I love the psychology and sociology behind it. Every time you ask someone to give just one detail about how bad it is, they always go, I can't even quantify or qualify how bad it is. It's so bad, I can't even talk about it. That's how you know nothing happened. Every single time. It's the same gambit by the same kinds of people. They do it with me. They go, he's so bad. He's so wrong. He's so horrific. It's heinous. And you go, okay, what's he doing? I can't even qualify it. I can't even explain it. It's so horrific and bad. It's like, that's usually not how things actually work. In case anyone's wondering, just look for that. Look for, first of all, this just, you can't even see it. I wish I could zoom in. Look at this guy's posture, number one, and the way he's got his tippy toes out like a ballerina and the limpest wrist in the world, playing the biggest victim in the world, and claiming that Alex Jones stole their processing ability and ability to cope. Are we not experiencing the same power and value dynamics and psychological dynamics over and over again with various people, places, and things for obvious reasons? Like, they're just jealous and envious. They just don't want to accept reality and life on life's terms, and they just want some of what he has, mainly $1.5 billion bucks. Isn't it always the way?
You get people who are emailing them, people would find out their phone number, call them on the phone. But then you had people starting to show up in Newtown and destroy the memorials they had for their kids. They had people showing up at their homes, knocking on their door. They had people going around and talking to their neighbors. And then it just kept escalating as more and more people got caught into the wildness of it. There's Lucy Richards, right, who was a woman who I have to have some level of sympathy with on some way because she's mentally ill. But she got obsessed with all these narratives and about Lenny Posner. She was in Central Florida. And when it got disclosed that that's where Lenny had moved to, and InfoWars put up his Boca Raton mailbox where he picks up his mail.
Well, I've got an article here from a guy I think was our last caller. He's been getting all kinds of grief from Mr. Posner. Social media shut down due to Sandy Hook false copyrights. What's interesting is they list the address for the Honor Network in Boca Raton, Florida, 908 North Dixie Highway. There is no suite, but it's got two different buildings listed that address.
Well, we'll just start investigating that. And I guess I'm going to have to probably go on up to Newtown. I'm going to have to probably go investigate Florida as well.
She decided, okay, that's my call to action. So she started stalking Lenny and Veronique through Central Florida. She would call and leave these messages. And I don't know if you've ever heard them, man. And maybe we'll get a hold of them for you or something just so people can understand what this is. But creepy.
Did you hide your imaginary son in the attic? Are you still fucking him? You fucking Jew bastard. Look behind you. Death is coming to you real soon.
Just this awful, hateful stuff. These slurs and at him and that don't even make any sense. Yeah. I mean, she called him in the N-word and accused him that Noah is still alive and that he's got Noah in the attic and sexually assaults him every night. And even after she was arrested by federal law enforcement, and then she was sentenced to federal prison for a short period. Part of her conditional release is she cannot access InfoWars. She's just simply not allowed to do that as a condition of her parole. I'm an X-Files kid. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a late 90s conspiracy guy. Man, conspiracy culture used to be fun. It used to not be
what an idiot.
So malicious and cruel. Area 51.
Just listen to this mind and heart control. I was into the idea of conspiracies when it was fun. Is this not... Are we not doing the toxic feminine archetype again? I'm into whatever's fun and cute and cool till it gets real. Then I get scared and go into a cope hallucination to deny reality. We know. Those of us who have a background in how this works, we know. We're contending that's precisely the problem. When it was little green men who were going to save us from ourselves and stopping the nuclear bombs, it was so cute and cuddly and loving and great. When it became they're poisoning your air and water and food and pushing vaccines on you and maybe staging shootings to take the guns, oh boy, It's got a little icky around here, huh? I may have to recross my legs. It's so icky around here. These guys are so afraid of their own masculinity, they even sit in a way that hides their own genitalia. Yeah, let's get into that body language. They're so afraid of their own dick and balls and what it metaphorically like means or should mean that they have to sit like a woman hiding their own genitalia. They're so afraid, like they're so subconsciously like open to it, but afraid of getting raped and bent over while they submit to it and beg for it on some level. You know, this is every single ICBM, inauthentic corporate beta male, like overuses their dick in the world, but doesn't use it metaphorically, metaphysically, as an extension of like their true power and value, sacred masculinity. They got 100 goofy bitches they fucked and paid to fuck and simp tricked and played games and lost half the house and all the rest of it. You know, but when it comes down to actually being an archetypal man of courage and sacrifice and co-creation and leadership, there's not one among them. And you know this because when they get in the room and they have a test or a challenge or have to show themselves or explain themselves, they all take up the same crossed leg hiding of the genitalia subconsciously position rather than an empowered man sitting there with his legs open, genitalia and balls hanging free, right? Free in the wind. No. It's all right there in the subconscious mind and heart. And those are the same men who sit that way, who they want to tell you, stop man-spreading. Stop mansplaining and stop man-spreading. You close your legs. These are the toxic mama wannabes, the devouring mamas. They'll tell a man, stop sitting in a way that promotes and expresses your sacred masculinity. Sit with your legs crossed and hide your pathetic, weak, inferior genitalia. You know, just like your personality, just like your character. There's no difference usually, oftentimes. These people grow right into it. This is why I make the joke. 50% of women are on record, don't have an orgasm with their partner. I know who that 50% is. The same men who show up dressed like this with the limp wrist, who've never served anything outside of their own wants and comforts, and all hide their genitalia when they sit down because they're supremely impotent, disempowered, and disintegrated from the life force. It's why your masters told you were non-essential. What do you think the essence is? Right? In physical and metaphysical form. What do you think your essence is? What's the essential? Maybe it's that stuff that's coming through everybody's dick that's impregnating all these harlots that leads to these slack-jawed, uninspired, unentertaining, duped-out, weak-ass beta males. So they weren't wrong. I know it hurts everyone's feelers, but the devil does good sometimes, serves the truth more than people who claim to be God's people. When they told you were non-essential, they were telling you were impotent and disempowered. You haven't stood firm on anything yet. You get where I'm going with this lingo? You got to mix the Freudian psychosexual sometimes and make the connections and then correlate it to statistics. See, I don't do Bill Gates how to lie with statistics. I use statistics to correlate what I've already cited that lives within me and every other being and exists on an open air scale, right? It's just a ubiquitous scale at this point, open air asylum level. The beta males are going to sit around and chatter about how people talking or speculating on truth is hurting their feelings, so they got to be charged and pay them. How entitled and communistic of you. How Talcottian of you, quite frankly. And no, that doesn't mean I'm sticking up for Alex Jones, because obviously I have my gripes with him as well. And it's not about my gripes. It's about what is true and what is not. What is empowerment, inspiration, co-creation, and what is the antithesis of that? What is Christed and what is antichristo? If I could recognize it in me, I could recognize it in others. If I could recognize it in others, I could recognize it in me. That's the one self holographic reflective dynamic that exists in this universe. All right, Brian O'Shea, let's continue. I'm doing a lot of preaching / yapping. Preaching, non-preaching. Just saying what I'm
big
saying.
human hybrids, Roswell, I mean, it was kind of fluffy in its own way. Like it didn't really hit.
Can't
It
be
didn't
real.
really
Is this
matter
real?
at the end of the day what's at Area 51.
It's kind
It was
of
a mystery
fluffy?
box we could all have fun with. And there was a time when
We
Alex
want
Jones was
fluffy.
hilarious. We just all kind
We
of
grown man. We want
when he in
fluffy.
his early days.
We want nice.
But the moment he started commanding,
We want
I'll tell
fun.
you, it goes hand in hand with the
Girls just want to have
Sick
fun.
of the globalist, eugenicist, control freaks
Is it
adding poison
real?
to your water and laughing as you get sick and die? Start purifying your water with ProPure at
Oh, here's where we start shilling
books,
products.
videos, t-shirts, high quality water filters, short radio.
I got
released radiation into the environment by the iodine. You know, we were seeing that basically right after the month of Sandy Hook, his traffic went up darn near 50%. From all the coverage he was doing that month of the hoax. So that caused them to double down because they've testified on the record. If we see traffic spikes, we try to emulate that. When Alex Jones said the school wasn't an operating school, when he said paramedics never even entered the building, when he said there are pictures of the children who they say died who are still alive, he didn't believe that shit. I don't believe Alex Jones thinks there's anything fishy about Sandy Hook, but he's going to keep saying it even right now. You know, he's still going to be weird about it.
Why?
It's not a matter of whether you believe it or not. It's a matter of whether you have carved a groove in your personality that the wheel just goes in that rut now. I think it would force a moment of ego he's not ready to confront.
The InfoWars store is like the main revenue source, yeah?
I mean, if I need it to be, if I need to, I go to supporters and just get straight donations.
Yeah.
So
how do you go about doing that?
Just ask them for the money.
The jury came in this evening with $4.2 million. I admitted that I followed disinformation, but not on purpose. I apologize to the families. What I did to those families was wrong, but I didn't do it on purpose. We are so broke, but if you don't fund us, if you don't buy products at InfoWarsStore.com, we will shut down. So get a t-shirt.
And there you did. You just in the common law realm, there's a dual jurisdiction. I put it on record. I've asked them and they've confirmed it. So no one could say that I made it up and that I'm conjecturing, right? That's what's so great about having the firsthand experience. You just admitted on an open platform you did wrong to the families. Wrong is equivalent to guilt. They're synonymous. Guilt and wrong is equivalent to a sin or a crime. That is how you put yourself in judgment with God because you don't really believe you did wrong or you wouldn't have doubled and tripled down on it. So why say it now? And you either don't understand the definition of wrong or don't wish to, which really amounts to the same thing. So you don't ever say you did wrong if you never did wrong. I don't tell people when I don't like them here or don't respect them, they did wrong necessarily. If they did, I point it out where they've caused loss, injury, and harm for themselves and others. Or did not pay their debt with God, with their society, whatever the case may be, with another individual, so to speak, for lack of a better term. But yeah, you don't get up somewhere and say you did wrong. You'll never hear me say I did wrong if I didn't cause loss, injury, and harm. Or if I didn't pay a debt. Most of the wrong I've done in my life is to me, with me, and it may extend outward to other people. But that's not directly doing wrong, right? Speaking your mind and what you perceive, as I like to say, right, wrong, or indifferent, which I should change that phrase. Speaking what you see and what you experience, it may be not as correct as it could be, but you're not doing wrong to anybody by living your truth at the time till it gets closer to the truth. So I think there's a fine line there, and I think it's foolish of him and others to ever admit that you're doing wrong. Especially if you're not intending to, and especially if it can't be shown who, what, where, why, and how. If you can't produce me a bill and show me damages, I must have not did wrong. If you can't produce a contract where I didn't pay a debt and I agreed to, I didn't do no wrong. I'm saying what I'm seeing and what I'm experiencing, and if that's not correct, well, then correct me. And if not, I'm the closest thing to truth at that point. This is how everybody gets themselves fucked over, playing politically correct power games because your attorneys and whoever else convinced you to go the other way. You'd have been better off just continue. Yeah, I killed the kids. Yeah, whatever. Just doing satire, doing entertainment broadcast and pointing out the absurdity of it. To get up there and whine and cry and fold and say you did wrong when you didn't because you're going broke. That's dishonor. That's bad faith. That's how the court loves to see you get yourself right out of your true power and position. Loves to help trick you right out of your true power and position. Because you want benefits and privileges, because you want to keep the company going. You know me, I don't have all that to lose because I keep myself in that position for a reason. It's a one-man non-show for a reason. You can't ever take what I have and who and what I am from me. It's not possible. You have to kill me. See, this is where we get to the idea the things you think you have or the people, places, and things around you think are riding with you actually own you, are going to impede your progress and motion if ever need be. It's one thing to have a few folks who are really down for a cause. They're going to be there regardless. But to have all these workers and all these agents and extra folks, time to cut that all loose. First of all, you should have never gave over control and administration of your estate and your property to begin with. You never should have got yourself arraigned in their jurisdiction. You never should have signed any paperwork, and you definitely never should have hired an attorney. But who am I? I'm just a trailer-dwelling gorilla online, right? What could I possibly know, regardless of experiences, about the courts and legal lawful and what it all means and how it works? That's the game, right?
Get a book. Get Body's
If they can get
Formula.
Alex Jones, they can get anyone.
Get them all at InfoWarsStore.com and keep us on the air.
What do you think he deserves at the end of this road?
To no longer be in public life, right? Like, I don't. People have been like, "Oh, you're out to destroy Alex Jones." I don't want to destroy him. I don't care if he wants to work at Safeway or manage a Sprint store. I don't care. I feel the right amount of justice is you should not be able to commercially market yourself as a public figure anymore. Like, you should exit the American stage. That's what I think is the correct result. Or at least that's what I think is the most utilitarian good result. But the money's not even really the question for me. The question is, will this suit be successful at stopping him from being on the national stage? And my worry is, like we said in the courthouses, it won't be, because the cameras will still follow him. Like, he can lose all of his money. He gets out there again on the bullhorn, and he starts building it right back up.
No, I told you I was going to shut it down.
Right. He shouldn't be able to have free speech anymore. Shouldn't be able to exist.
No.
You were going to shut down InfoWars?
I was going to hand it off to the people. Oh, no. It's not a labor of love now. It's a labor of war. We ain't shutting shit down.
So the question is, can this cause of action against Jones on behalf of these parents come to represent something bigger? Is it a bigger referendum on the false things he's saying? I hope so, man. I hope so.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I see me picking my teeth, my enemy's bones.
Whatever. If Alex Jones and others weren't complete bitches, they'd already be looking into and doing what the fuck I and others are doing and really putting in some fucking work, or getting with those because really no and getting with people like myself and others who are really about it and living that type of shit. But they don't, because they aren't, and they most likely are agents, whether they're aware of it or not. I don't care if it's corporatized or spiritualized agents, because one and the same tend to run in the same circles. Usually you're a spiritual agent of Shaitan and a child of the deception and the lie before you ever hit the corporate stage. So one tends to follow the other, and vice versa. The reason why I'm always surprised so many people don't show up at my doorstep or work with me, not because I have so much of a grandiose vision about myself and how, Alex Jones and Donald Trump, I'm not slack-cod. They all shouldn't be knowing about me and looking for me. But it's ultimately what I understand, what I've applied, the results I've got. I can't be the only one. I know there's other people out there who are involved. Why they're not doing that like we're doing that, why they're not a part of what we're doing, to me just means that there's a mix-up in the transmission. Someone's not getting the download/upload stream the way others are, for whatever reason. So they're bound to live out a certain fate, it would seem to me, when it comes to these things. There's no way out other than the way through. The way through is knowing the law of the land, knowing the law of the universe, knowing the law of true care, if you want to call it love, and really standing on that and living that and not relinquishing. That's like every romanticized, people want to do love as this romanticized idea and forget in every romantic novel, a motherfucker had to die to secure who and what they were and their relationship. What are you talking about? So if you love yourself, if you love your country, if you love your bitch and your family and all the rest of it, you'll be a fucking man and potentially live and die on that shit, because that's all we got. Tell me about love and got nothing, no equation to sacrifice and consequence and courage. Tell me all about love. These same people can't point to a real motherfucker standing on anything. They don't got it in their life and want to tell me about a feeling and an attachment that goes away like this. Soon as you bring in the checkbook, soon as they bring in court papers, goes away like that. That's the scariest thing about it. The motherfuckers who talk the most about love don't even know the truest of love that would give up everything to get it back. Like the love of Christ and the love of God and the love of truth in these stories, in these experiences. That's true love. That's true care. And guess what? What's understood and experienced don't have to be talked about. So be very wary of motherfuckers who want to keep talking about love and light, love and light, love and light. If you got so much love and light and faith in you, why are you not still willing to stand no matter what till the end? Because where I come from, romanticized or not, in every one of those stories about a love couple or some kind of a legacy, somebody usually had to go to a box forever or die in order to secure the difference between themselves and everybody else just saying shit and feeling shit. Who were in the wind when the time came, right? Can we get really real with ourselves and each other's about what true love and care looks and feels and sounds and more importantly acts like and what it doesn't do when the time comes? Because the rest is just feelings and what you want to believe, what it feels like versus what it really is. I could go right to myself. I could go right to Jennifer and anybody else out. How many times you bump into somebody and say you fell in love and you were in a relationship for 5 to 10 years. And when push came to shove, the true colors came out and you saw exactly what everybody was really fucking about. Tell me nothing about love and care that I'm not living and having experience. The rest of that shit is just talk. It's what you want to believe. It's what it feels like, but it's got nothing to do with what it really is. And that's the difference between a pimp, proper instruction motivates people, and a broken hoe with no discernment and understanding and no experience in the world, but not of it. Your thoughts, Brian O'Shea? I'm doing it again. I'm not supposed to be angry. Dr. Jeffrey Pizer said, don't be angry. Don't be yelling. Stop spitting that vitriol that you think is good game. It's keeping your gallbladder upset. You just got to be nice, kind, and polite and reserved, Holly boy. You know, stoic. Not listening to my doctor, Jeffrey Pizer. I'm not listening to him.
No, it's firing me up, and I'm sure it's firing other people up and motivating them. I mean, hey, if that's part of the sacrifice, I don't know. I can't see it. If it's a positive thing and you're speaking truth, I don't see how it could be a detriment to your body. Unless you're getting angry, tapping into things. But I don't know. I think it's good, man. I get a lot out of it. I get fired up, even though I don't know if you could. I'm just sitting here like, ugh, but I'm absorbing it all, bro. It's good shit to me. I don't know. I don't know if it's detrimental to you or not.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
I think it's a balance like anything else potentially, but maybe my doctor Jeffrey Pizer knows something that I don't. There's always a possibility. I'm choosing love, choosing peace. No crime, no ID. Cops own and dismiss First Amendment autofill, and then I'm out of here. I'm gonna take a ride with her. Go to the Natural Grocers. It's fairly long distance, you know. For the average slave, I'm used to riding around at this point. Used to traveling, so that's my new favorite store, Natural Grocers. They got all the shit. It's incredible too. I go to Natural Grocers. I go, oh, they have all the pickled stuff. It's actually cheaper than the shit at Slave Mart and everywhere else, and it doesn't have dyes and like bleach in it to keep everything firm and hard and whatever, the preservatives and a bunch of crap. Wouldn't you know, I look on the back of this fucking, it's called, ironically, Dr. Pizer, it's called Jeff's Garden. It's like you know how they do, like they have Mazzetta, which looks like it came right off an assembly line with the corporate branding and all that. You know Mazzetta. If anyone knows the pickled vegetables, it's like the only one they have everywhere. You know, some Fugazi Italian brand, you know, but it's real corporatized right down to the red branding and you know, red and yellow and all the stuff to supposedly activate you. So you go to Jeff's, you go to the Natural Grocers, they have Jeff's Garden, you know, and it's like very sort of like a kid drew it. It like gives you that homey, you know, down home feeling. You feel like a real guy made this. And then you look on the back and you see there's none of the added chemicals and nothing else. Wouldn't you know it's made by the same company, Mazzetta? Right in the corner, it says Mazzetta with the big red letters. So they know that there's a market for people, I guess now, who don't want to be poisoned and don't need all the extra shit, because it turns out when you put the vegetables in the vinegar with the salt, that is the preservative. I know this is crazy. I know this is fucking crazy, but it turns out You don't need to add 3 more colored preservatives to keep the color and keep it hard. This is that inauthentic corporate beta male shit, right? They're on so many vaccines and so much poison, they need 3 medications to keep themselves the same color and keep them hard. You get where I'm going with this. Instead of that lupus yellow skin and a flaccid penis. We don't need to do this anymore with the people or the vegetables. There's natural preservatives. There's natural co-creative modalities. That's what we're doing, and it's like, it just fascinates me. I go, so Mazetta this whole time knows the poisons are bad, that this is preferable, can actually make a better product for cheaper, chooses to charge us double to put 3 added poisons and chemicals in that are just not necessary. What is that? And I'm a theorist for asking why we're doing that. And by we, I mean, I guess whoever the dumbass like me that was eating this crap for at least, because the whole time I'm like, okay, I gotta look for alternatives. And then they're making them. The same people who are making this are making the alternatives. And then I go, my next question is, why is there not Brian O'Shea's piss and vinegar pickled okra? Where like it looks like a jar of piss. That's part of the marketing because he drinks his own urine, but it's actually like some kind of rice wine vinegar. And there's no why can't we have Brian's garden?
Well, what they do is they start off and then they get bought by these people, and then that's when they can slowly poison you or do something to it or take it off the market. So it's like, now I'm mad at Jeff's garden, Jeff the gardener, because why did you sell that shit to the fucking evil? They're gonna fuck it up eventually, but for the money. Right?
Then Jeff just goes and makes another one, sells it, another one sells it, and he keeps pimping. And then you always kind of know. I don't know. Do I care? Do I care if Mazetta makes Jeff's garden? As long as Jeff's garden doesn't have poison and toxic chemicals and additives, that works for me. I'm not a hater, but I'm just wondering, why don't we have Mama Mimi's big-breasted dill pickle slices, where it's just Mimi with her big breasts on the glass bottle, because that's safer than the can, and she can produce this fucking shit for $1.50 a bottle and sell it for $4. That's a quick double up. And then what's happening? There's just no get up and go anywhere. Do I have to do this shit? Am I gonna have to make Paulie's pickles? Paulie's pickled. I don't fucking know. What am I talking about, bro?
That's exactly where we're going though with this whole.
I'll have Jennifer do it. Jennifer, go make Paulie's pickles.
Dude, everything.
You got to know how I got the name like Ricky Ricardo.
That grocery store is gonna have to go away, dude. It's gonna be more.
This is big.
Just get rid of grocery stores, dude. They fucking suck, dude.
We would, but we can't find anyone to do anything. Talcott won't make pickles. He's got a whole platform here. He could fucking push him. He's too damn lazy to get up and make the pickles. And I mean, I'm obese and I can't stand up, as it's been said. And I got other stuff going on. I mean, hell, I'm living in a trailer. You know how much I'm doing without nowadays? I just don't have it in me to start making pickles around here. Maybe I'll get to it, Brian. Like I said, I'll have Jennifer do it. She's only working 2 jobs and taking care of a obese ass baby like myself. But I'm diseased. I can add one more thing onto her plate. She's very type A. Get yourself a Jew broad. They're very type A. They'll handle them pretty much all of it. I had to do a little work yesterday, Brian O'Shea. I'll confess to you. She came to me and she goes, "It's been a couple weeks. This clerk of court is telling me do this, you can't do that." Then she hands me a sheet with instructions, and it says right on the sheet to do what I already tried to do that she says I can't do. I go, they're just fucking you off and playing games with you. You don't know that? I had to teach her how to pimp again. So get out of your feelers. You don't have to be nasty with them either, but let's go. Tell them what they're going to do. Don't ask them. They're there to serve you. Tell them, I'm sending you registered mail. You will put this stuff on file and enter the evidence. We're done. Funny enough, as soon as we sent that email last night, all of a sudden, everything changed once again. I got to constantly be daddy with these people. I got to constantly either teach her how to pimp as one of my main hoes, or I got to teach them as some of the secondary hoes. We're supposed to be here to care for me and the rights and the property and the land and the people and the service, how to do the service properly. You don't tell us what we're going to do or not do and then say we can do what you said we can't do on the damn sheet. What game are you playing? So now the game is over. I want you to tell me an email that I can't do it this way. I want to get you on record. They already know. They already know. That's the worst part about this. The little children already know. And then daddy's got to come home and say, Daddy's home. We're done with the cats away. The mice will play. Because you thought you're going to walk all over Jennifer. You thought you're going to fuck her around because she's being a little too nice, kind, and polite. You know, let's get really real with ourselves and each other. So now you're going to tell them what they're going to do and what their service is and what their operation is and the proper process and function of government, or we got a problem. Do I have to start adding people to the claim? We're already suing a dozen people. So do you want to get added to the claim? I don't think you do. Because we'll just start creating a nice little package of conspiracy to interfere with rights and process and procedure, proper process and procedure of the functions of government. Let's get into it. I got all day, you know? Yeah, then everything changes up when you remind them of what the fuck their job and their role is. And that's how it's supposed to be. Teaching us to be accountable and response-able and willing and disciplined and discerning, right? And unwavering. This is how you get the government of and by and for the people back, by acting like a bunch of fucking people who have some kind of backbone, have some kind of loving care, but are unwavering in the truth and willing to put people on when necessary of what they need to be doing. Wow, imagine a fucking world where we stop pussyfooting around and actually embodied true leadership and stop feeling guilty about it. Someone's got to take charge. Someone's got to lead. If not, we see where the fuck it goes. You get managed and governed by your inferiors, a bunch of inauthentic corporate beta males with inferior genitalia and mouthpiece. As I did the Bitnon bit earlier.
Fucking Heart Guardian with Jennifer's Juicy Peaches. Come on, man.
What is that about? What is he saying?
Well, he's all the products where we had.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. Whatever, you know. All right, Brian O'Shea, give me a final word here. I'm getting the hell out of here. Wait, do we do? Okay, we never did cops, did we?
No.
We'll do the cop thing, and then I'm out of here.
What's the problem? Why are you here?
What's the problem?
Why am I here? Why are you here?
I'm here because I got called over for you.
For me?
Yeah.
Why for me?
Well,
hold on. Hey, don't interrupt. Relax. Let the man talk. Go ahead.
All right, sir. So why are you here today?
First of all, I'm not going to answer any questions. What's your name and badge number? Hey, hold on. I'm trying to have a conversation.
Yeah,
are you a human being? Can you relax?
So hold on a
Can you
second.
relax? Just let him talk. How is he ever going to learn if you don't let him talk? How is he ever going to learn?
I explain to you why we're
No,
here?
you can't. I'm in the middle of a conversation. Maybe when we're done, if you have some common courtesy, then we can have a conversation, me and you. Go ahead, continue. I'm sorry about your supervisor here.
Can you listen to my sergeant, please?
That's what you want to do? Really? You just want to quit the conversation? Really?
Yes.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Peeps, and in today's video,
I have not committed a crime. You can't ask for ID or nothing. There's no reason for. Then at that point, you're violating my rights, my Fourth Amendment. What's the Fourth Amendment right? Huh? What's the Fourth Amendment right?
You should know.
Well, yeah, Fourth Amendment right is my privacy, to my legal privacy.
Privacy for you going over to someone's fence.
I'm not going over their fence. I'm right here in public. Oh well, there's no expectation. Plain view doctrine. Look it up.
That has nothing to do with
Plain view doctrine. If I can see it from public, I can record it.
You are being unreasonable.
You're being unreasonable. You just want to be on a high horse. That's it.
Post this video for your two fans.
I'm telling you that you guys violate people's rights like you're going to try to do right now.
You don't let me talk. You just want to talk over for your.
Because all you want to do is violate people's rights, right?
Have a nice day. We have your information. You'll probably
You have a nice day.
How many times have you been arrested doing this?
Don't worry about how many times I got arrested.
0.
Yeah.
Right? We have violated your rights 0 times.
No. You don't know anything then.
How many times have you been arrested for doing this?
More than what you think, buddy.
0.
More than what you think, buddy.
So
more than what you think. Just for violating my rights. Just for violating my right. Traveling, walking, just and saying, oh, if you don't step right there, you're not in public. When the public says,
I'm talking. You're trespassing from right
this is
here.
it.
Do you understand that? I have to yell because I can't even hear myself think because you won't shut up. You are trespassed from this address. If you come back from this address again, you will go to jail.
I can walk up and down all the street the whole time I want. As long as I'm not on their property, buddy. So don't go there. Don't get it twisted. I can walk up and down this sidewalk. I can walk up and down the street.
If you are
see how you guys are doing.
recording their
See how you are pushing out your unlawful orders. Do you see that, Sergeant? You're a sergeant, right?
Unlawful about
Are you not a sergeant?
So you are free to go.
What's your name and badge number, Sergeant?
Sergeant
Andrews, 174.
Okay, then you should teach your officers does not violate people's rights and give unlawful orders.
Free to go. Still free
Then
to go.
tell them not to give unlawful orders, okay? Remember that.
I don't have to tell him anything.
You're the sergeant. You're the one that's supposed to be in charge of these guys.
Guess what? My boss is here, so
You are free to go.
Wow. Public photography is a First Amendment protected right, and cops know this. But for some reason, they set themselves up to be owned and humiliated, often walking away in shame, empty-handed, no IDs given. No crime, no ID. Let's watch.
So you're just hanging out.
Oh, guys, look at that big American flag. He just won't leave me alone, guys. Huh?
You say you're just hanging out here. Why wouldn't you want to identify yourself?
Why do I have to?
Because you were looking in the window at the bank.
What's wrong with that?
Well, it's not normal activity.
It is.
That's what you want me to go ahead and disregard.
We drove by. He's wearing a mask, looking in the bank. We tried to stop and talk to him. He's not providing me any information. He just wants to videotape the female was walking in the bank, and he says, there she is.
Disgusting. How's it going?
Alright, so it looks like there's all these officers here, man. I ain't even doing nothing wrong.
Dummy.
Yeah, I simply was standing here, guys, checking my phone, and I looked this way, and as you can see, there's a lady right here, and I turned around, and the police are wanting to talk to me, so.
I'm Mitch. Officer Adley.
Cool.
You got a first name or a nickname?
Guys, big semi truck here. I'm really not interested in talking right now, so.
Is that a GoPro or a knockoff?
He said it's at a GoPro or a knockoff. Why would I go with a knockoff instead of a GoPro? Looks like we got 3 police vehicles. Oh man, this is weird.
Trespass? Well, we need your information. Nope, I gotta talk to you. We need your information to trespass you from the bank.
I've never been on their property.
Well, we're gonna confirm that. So
You've already confirmed it. Yeah, you're blocking my way, bud.
Hey, stop.
The manager would like you trespass.
Oh, that's
You
cool.
need
That's
to
cool.
identify
No,
you
I
now.
don't.
No,
I
we do.
don't. No, I don't.
We do.
Legally, I don't, man.
In order to trespass you, we need your.
You tell me that I can't go on the property, and that's the end of it.
No.
Yeah, that's how it
We need to
works.
be able to document it because then we would never know.
You
who you were.
document him by saying this gentleman is
But
on.
we don't know.
Was never on their property, and
That's
then
not how that works.
it is how it works, man.
This is the chief of police.
Why are you?
You're the chief.
Why are you being so?
What's your name? A man exercising his rights is being uncooperative.
Yes, you are being unfair.
How is that?
You're creating a. You're.
Say the word disturbance. I dare you. I already know how it goes, guys. You don't know what I used to do. You don't know what I currently do.
So why are you doing this?
Because I can. I have a right to.
Okay, because you're trying to.
So I was standing on the corner on my cell phone. I looked and turned towards the window, not doing anything. So anybody who looks towards the bank window is suspicious.
Yes, it is.
With
How?
the mask on.
How?
business
It's
hours,
cold outside. I have my mask on all day.
She said you were videotaping inside the bank, and she was
Just now. Yeah.
okay. That
So what are you trespassing my eyeballs?
she would like you trespass from the bank.
Are you trespassing my eyeballs?
We're trespassing you from the property.
I was never on their property. So how are you going to do that?
I mean, this is their property. That's
So this is a public easement, public right of way. Yeah, public right of way.
So here's my thing.
Man, are you guys educated or not?
You're trying to create problems.
Oh, we already created it. Yeah, we already created the problems.
No, you did this.
No, you guys did it because I was just standing there. I didn't even have my camera out or anything. I was just on my phone. And then I saw this. I was starting to walk, and I saw this gentleman turn his lights on, and then he was trying to call me over for some reason. So
disgusting.
yeah,
I told you why. I observed you looking in the window of the bank.
cool.
Okay.
Cool. I can look inside
Saw
anything.
you videotaping inside of the bank. She would not like you on the property.
Cool. I wasn't on the
Not like
property.
you videotaping the bank. Therefore, we need your identification so we can trespass you from the property. You are not receiving any citations today. We simply need your.
But you don't need my information. No, you don't.
Yes, we do.
No, you don't. Legally, you don't. I have a right of a Fourth Amendment. Do you know what the Fourth Amendment is? To be securing your person, papers, and effects. Yeah, I don't have to give you any information, especially if I haven't been on their property. You want to go down this road? We can go down this road, man.
Well, I understand.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have fun with you guys. So yeah. So right now you're actually interfering right now with my duties that I have.
We understand. We have a very today.
No, you're interfering.
Very much of a right to check out to see.
No, you don't.
Yes.
If I haven't committed a crime, you don't. Do you suspect me of committing a crime? That's the most important part. Well, you can't go off of we don't know.
That was the reason.
We have reasonable suspicion.
You have reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime. Man, I know the law, dude. I'm very well versed in this
Yeah, you're
stuff.
very well versed in trying to create problems.
Oh, we already created it, man. So what now?
You've done that.
No, how, man?
What?
By standing, turning and looking at somebody. I was reading the balloon inside of her window. First off, if you want to go, we can go look at it.
We're not going to go look at it.
Okay, so you can't just come up to somebody because they're looking in somebody's window. And you're the chief? What's your name, man? Okay. Yeah, you guys might want to read up on some case laws and stuff.
You might want to.
Oh, I know him. I know him.
No, you don't even let me finish. So
I don't have to, man. You work for the people, and you guys are trying to stand here. I'm not being detained, am I?
We're just trying to get your information. Man.
Yeah, you're not getting my information. Yeah, I haven't been on their property, so. I know the laws, man. I don't have to give you anything.
Look, if you're not up to anything, we're not here to be assholes.
You already
so you
been.
See somebody looking in the bank during the business.
I'm gonna go look in the bank again. There's nothing you can do about it.
So you've been trespassed. If you go back and you look in the bank window again,
I'm not on their property.
Be an issue.
I'm not on their property. What are you gonna trespass my eyeballs? You want to come down there with me while I do it again? Oh, okay. So there's no issue. You guys might as well get back in your cars and drive away. Wow.
I don't think there's anything ridiculous about me stopping to talk to you.
It is. It is.
Not simply stopping to
Well, no, you can stop and talk to anybody. Correct. You're right about that. You can, but I have a right not to speak to you.
Have I forced you to do anything?
I hope not.
Exactly. That's my point.
Forced them not to leave.
But I told you I didn't really want to talk, and you guys are still trying to talk to me. So, wouldn't you consider that harassment at that point?
I don't think so.
Okay, if somebody doesn't want to talk to you and you keep nagging them,
While we try to figure out what we're going to do.
why don't you talk to them?
That's what they're doing.
Oh, okay. What does that have to do with me, though?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool.
Camera in my
Awesome, man. I'm not in your face. Yep, disengage. Awesome. Thank you. There we go. All right, I'm gonna go back to doing what I was doing, guys.
Taking photographs and video of things that are plain.
All right, I'm going to leave it there, Brian O'Shea. Give these people a final word, and then we're out of here. Back tomorrow, somewhere between 12 and 5 MDT, whatever the hell that means.
You see that shit? Standing in your power. You got to understand he had the power in that situation, right? They didn't have nothing on him. And he could have baited him. Like, go ahead, yeah, do your thing. Will you arrest me? You know, the lawsuit, make me some money. You know, but no, I like it. Good stuff today, Paul. Thanks for having me on. Good luck at the health journey. Godspeed with that. Blessings to you and everyone else of health and blessings of understanding, as you say. So
blessings, brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Peace and love to everyone.
All right, I'll see you later, brother. Thanks.
See you later. World famous Brian O'Shea. Wears many hats. Too many to mention. We love Brian O'Shea here. Good man. He's got a good heart. Funny. Intelligent. He's got a wise heart. What can't be said about Brian O'Shea that hasn't already been said? Aaron giving some positivity as always. Make it your best day ever. All right, I'm going to leave it there, folks. If you got anything that I must lay eyes on, the email's up top. You could see a scrolling thing. You can send contributions, not just sort of non-monetary, but videos, music, clips. Lewis sent something. I was going to get to it. It's up there just so that folks know that I'm paying attention. I may or may not respond. I usually respond to most of it, if not all of it. And I may use it here. And I try to give credit if possible for whatever's sent in and or whatever's showcased here. So, yeah, if you're into that, if you have something you absolutely want me to lay eyes on, send it to the email box. I will screen it, filter it, curate it, whatever is necessary. If you got like fan, non-fan, hopefully folks are not fanatical. But if you got like music, there's a guy, he put it in a Telegram. I got to get to it at some point. He made some White Gorilla heavy metal songs, some kind of rap metal, I guess you could call it, some kind of Limp Bizkit type of thing, I guess. I don't know what you would consider it. Like sort of metal, sort of rap, coworker rap, white guy rap. Yeah, we'll get to some of that. There's about 2 or 3 of them he made, so we'll showcase at least one of them here. I mean, it's not bad. I've heard a lot worse. It kind of adds to the experience, the audience engagement, interaction experience. So feel free to do that. Just don't get hurt feelings if I comment a certain way on it, or I don't acknowledge it, or I don't play it. That's the risk you take. But it's fun. It's for fun. We're having fun. All right, I'm out of here. Call Untouchable on the way out. Now get out of here. Someone's got to be a winner while the rest of you motherfuckers lose in life. I know what the fuck I'm talking about, and I know how to stand on the law and uphold it. I know how to make you bitch-ass fucking slaves look like a bunch of fools at court. Silver and gold tongue gorilla. You know the deal. About 150 pathetic, cowardly, gaslighting, projecting, lying slaves showed up to the channel today to comment on a video that was aired on another coward's channel that got 53,000 views today. 53,000 pathetic citizen slaves watched me, and instead of read the headline and accept that we got dismissals, the case numbers are all right here. Go get your buddies. Go get all your buddies. Go get them, Jake and all the rest. Dismissed without prejudice, right? Criminal complaint filed, public safety assessment, advisements of rights read, waiver of counsel filed, notice of hearing, conditional release that was again dismissed because I didn't follow any of the conditions, nor do I need to. Correspondence entered on the record, that would be by me. And then the weirdest thing happened. Notice of dismissal. Would you guys like the case numbers? Well, I'm going to give it to you anyway because you're all claiming that I'm not giving the case numbers. You don't care about the truth and what's right. You don't care about the law and the difference between legal and lawful. You're not interested in the facts. You're a bunch of projecting, bad faith, dishonorable, gaslighting, lying, cowardly, bitch-ass slaves. And none of you who commented on that video of me and Jennifer today, all day today, are going to come up on this panel and have a conversation with me. I'm doing fellowship. I'm saving souls and doing ministry indirectly. So keep it up. Keep talking about me. Keep promoting me. Definitely don't show up here because you know what you're going to get. Right? And just keep letting your little flying monkey audience try to gaslight everybody else that we got no movement, no value, no power, no knowledge. I'm way more intelligent than the majority of you Dunning-Kruger slaves. This is why we fought a war against you lying, bad faith, ungodly, satanistic, limey scum. Because we were tired of being up under your bitch asses. Imagine someone like me being ruled by someone like you. Get a fucking clue.
You fucking beta male Wales dwelling coward. 3/4 of you guys from the UK and Europe are a bunch of punk bitch cowards and would make it 3 seconds on New York, where I'm from, or on America, because of who you are and how you talk and how you live. That case has been dismissed and now they're all getting sued and they wish they wouldn't have done what they did. Why don't you report on that part? Why don't you lying beta male fish and chip cowards report on that part?
Disgusting.